Hello everyone and welcome to Application Manager's free training series. This is part 1 of the series, which will be on application-centric infrastructure monitoring. Let me walk you through today's agenda. We have a 4-part session today. In the first part, we'll be looking at how you can auto-discover components and dependencies across your entire application stack with Applications Manager. In part 2, we'll be looking at how you can measure the key performance metrics across your application infrastructure. In part 3, we'll be looking at how you can utilize AI and ML to detect anomalies, analyze performance trends, and plan capacity. And in the last part, we'll be looking at how you can leverage the most out of Applications Manager's integrations and what all integrations Applications Manager supports. So moving on to part 1, which is auto-discover components and dependencies across your entire application stack with Applications Manager. Now let us consider the experience of one of our customers who's a global financial service provider. This company relies on virtual data center with a complex network of servers, which includes Tomcat, MySQL, and IIS. Unfortunately, they encountered a service interruption due to an unidentified issue. Their complex IT infrastructure with diverse servers and dependencies creates a blind spot in identifying the source of the performance issues, which brings them to an impasse. They lack the necessary visibility to pinpoint the source of the problem, whether it originated from the database or a specific server or another unforeseen component within the application stack. They often suspect the database might be at fault, but due to limited visibility, they couldn't determine the location of these database servers, and pinpointing the root cause becomes a time-consuming struggle. Additionally, identifying slow-running queries within the database proves equally challenging. So the financial service provider needed a solution to gain deeper visibility into their complex IT infrastructure and proactively manage their applications. Applications Manager, with its comprehensive application performance monitoring and infrastructure monitoring capabilities, emerged as the perfect solution. With a single-click, Applications Manager can discover all the services, and applications that are running within the IT infrastructure. To discover the resources across IT infrastructure, 3 methods can be used. One is network discovery, then we have the bulk discovery, and finally we have the virtual infrastructure discovery. With the auto discovery mode in Applications Manager, you can remotely sweep an entire infrastructure with the network discovery. You can understand how the apps and services in your architecture connect and communicate. And you can troubleshoot operational issues and understand the problems down to the host and instance level. So the network discovery is the process of discovering all the resources or the monitors in a specified network. It discovers the monitors running in the default port only. And bulk discovery, with the help of the bulk discovery option, you can add the monitors of the same type in bulk. Bulk import of monitors is performed by using a CSV file which contains all the configuration details of the monitor that you wish to add. Ideally, there are 2 types of dependency mapping that can be performed in Applications Manager. One is the server-to-server mapping, and the other one is the application-to-application dependency. So in server-to-application dependency, it displays all the applications that are running on a server and it maps the applications that are interconnected to each other. And in application-to-application dependency, it displays all the applications that are running on the same and different servers and maps the ones that are interconnected. Our application discovery and dependency mapping feature helps you discover and group resources, establish relationships between them, map them correctly to provide a holistic view of your infrastructure, assess the health and impact potential of the resources, and more. For example, if an application is running on server A and it's using the database running on server B. So for these 2 servers, we can create a relationship map. We can also view the live status of the application at the hosted servers as well. This feature will also help you detect and isolate problems, if any, and obtain the periodic status of your applications to help you make informed decisions. Rather than checking if the host server is down or the database is down manually, you can check this view to point the exact root cause of issues. So let me show you how to perform the application discovery and dependency mapping in Applications Manager's UI. So this is how the UI looks. And when you go to settings and add discover under the discovery and data section, you will be able to add the monitors here. So as you can see, we support over 150 types of technologies across your entire IT stack, which includes application servers, cloud apps, converged infrastructure, database servers, end user monitoring monitors, and mail servers, middleware, servers, services, virtualization, web server, and services, etc. To add a monitor, just click on any one of these services and it will take you to the add monitor page. To bulk import the monitors of a particular type, go to bulk import, select the monitor type, for example, Amazon, choose the file. So here the file that you've chosen must be less than 50 KB. And after you've chosen the file, upload it and click on next. So you will be able to view all the details here of the monitors that are added. And to discover, go to Discovery tab, click on Add New, give all the details such as name. And if you have a credential which you have already used in Applications Manager, you can use the Credential Manager and click on the credential. So if you don't have a credential, you can add a credential and use that credential. And also you'll be able to choose the type of discovery here. One is range, the other one is CIDR, and the other one is VMware. So when you click on range, you need to specify the IP address range from whichever IP address to whichever IP address. And also you can specify the subnet mask. If you choose CIDR, you need to specify the network address. And under VMware, you need to specify the vCenter hostname or the IP address, the port, the username, password, TLS version, subnet mask. And if you want to create a virtual infrastructure view, you can do that as well. So after that, you need to give the port details. So if you've already configured the port, then it's okay. But if you want to configure a new port, you can specify the details here. By default, you already have a few port details that have already been configured. So after that, you can just choose to discover or discover and add. So let me show you how it looks in the dependency map. So here, just click on Dependency Map Edition, or if you've already created a view for the dependency, you can click on the view. Here, since we are creating the view right now, click on Dependency Map Edition, say give a name, and click on the monitors that you want to map the dependencies for, and click Create. So this will be the mapping that you will get. So as you can see, if you hover on all the monitors, you will be able to see the availability details, the health of the monitors, and the root cause of issues if there are any issues. As you can see here in Windows, we have an issue, which is represented by the red dot. And by hovering on it, you can see the root cause of issues as well. So since this will be the dependency mapping, so for example, since this is a simple dependency, which is only between the Apache server and the Nginx engine, and this is also between the Apache server and the Windows server. But if you have complex dependencies across your entire IT infrastructure, it is very useful for you to get a dependency map. Moving on, we'll look at how you can create a monitor group also. So a monitor group is especially useful because they're a logical group of one or more monitor that provide a holistic view of your business environment. For example, the health of an online web application depends on various factors, such as the health of the application server, the availability of the application server, and the database server. These applications and services can be grouped together and monitored as a single monitor. So to create a monitor group, go to New Monitor Group and click on the monitor group. Here, specify the monitor group name. And you also can give the description of the monitor group. And you can assign owners for the monitor group. And you can choose whether it's a simple monitor group or a web application monitor group. For a simple monitor group, you won't have to do much, but for a web application monitor group, you can choose the application components of the web application. For example, you have the end user transaction group, the network devices group, edge devices group, web server group, application server group, database group, servers group, etc. If you have a location where you want this to be seen, you can choose and create the group. So after you've done, you can assign your monitors to this monitor group. So simply, if you already added a monitor, you just go to the monitor, click on Edit Monitor and assign it to the monitor group. Or if you're adding a new monitor, when you're adding itself, you can assign this monitor to this monitor group. So let's see how you can create a business service. So with the help of application dependency mapping, you will be able to view a business service map as well. Just click on all the available monitors or the monitors which you want to select and proceed to the business service mapping. So here, this is the business view, which is available in Applications Manager, which also provides you a dependency of the monitor group. So since we already created the monitor group and we are associating the web servers under this monitor group, it will sort of create a dependency between the components or the monitors available in the monitor group. So by hovering over it, you can either edit it, or you can cancel it, or you can remove it. So these are the this is how the monitor group looks in the UI. So let's move on to the second topic of today's series, which is how to measure the key performance metric across your entire application infrastructure. So what happens when an issue arises? You don't understand where it is coming from. The cloud ops team blames the applications team. The applications team blames the DevOps team, and the DevOps team blames the network team. So if this has occurred in your organization or is an ongoing issue, the problem is prone to be because of the lack of a unified visibility. So what do you need insights into? So before that, we need to we need to talk about how or what constitutes an issue. So we have different components in your application stack, like hardware, network, operating systems, and applications. In a hardware component, you are prone to hardware errors or availability problems. And this is an issue for the hardware components. It may not be the same for the network components. For the network component, the existing network utilization and error rates are usually the issues in the network component. And in an operating system, poor provisioning of server and virtual resources is the main issue. And in application, it's usually the app slowness or the unhandled exceptions. So to ensure the optimum performance, it is important to understand the key metrics that you need to track no matter which environment your applications are running on, whether it's on-premise, private cloud, public cloud, or hybrid cloud. So among the critical metrics for application servers listed here, so we have request throughputs, threads, server response time, JVM heap usage, and connection details. So among all of these key parameters in application servers, JVM heap usage stands out. It acts as a vital gauge for identifying memory-intensive sections of your Java applications. By monitoring this metric, you can pinpoint memory hogs, detect memory leaks, and optimize the memory location. So, Applications Manager empowers you to monitor the JVM heap usage effectively. By monitoring this heap usage, you can effectively or proactively manage your application's memory footprint. It also helps you prevent the memory-related issues and ensure optimal performance. So while the JVM heap usage is crucial, it's not the only metric for ensuring optimal application server health. Similar to JVM heap usage, Applications Manager allows you to configure alerts for server response time and thread utilization. This proactive approach ensures that you're notified of potential issues before they impact users or application stability. Additionally, you can also analyze the historical data to identify the trends and patterns, enabling better resource allocation and application optimization over time. So when it comes to servers, there are quite a few servers that Applications Manager supports, like Windows Server, you have AIX Server, you have IFO Business Server, you have Linux Server, FreeBSD, Oracle, etc. So when it comes to these servers, there are some key metrics that you need to focus on. Some of the metrics that include system level performance metrics, server availability and uptime, and application level performance metric. Apart from this, you can also monitor the event logs, which helps you better understand how the system is operating, and they can also give you insight into the health of the system. And also another important part in a server is the processes and services in the servers. So in addition to monitoring the service at the process level, it tells you why the server is resource constrained and what is causing this issue. This clarity helps you detect when a service process or a specific process goes haywire, which deprives other processes of resources and brings down the performance of the server or the entire infrastructure. Without process monitoring, identifying the root cause that trigger this chain of events is close to impossible. So some of the system level performance metrics that are mentioned, mentioned over here are the resource metrics, which is probably like CPU usage, disk utilization, and memory usage, which are which are three of the core metrics that you need to monitor in servers, not only in servers, but in all of the technological components in your IT infrastructure. So let's move on to the database. So one of the most important metrics in database is the queries. So when it comes to database servers, ensuring the optimal performance is critical. A key factor influencing the database health is the query performance. Slow queries can cause significantly bad impact on the application response times and the user experience. Applications Manager empowers you to monitor query performance within your database servers effectively. So in the query for performance, you need to look out for the queries that take too long to run, and you can track the most frequent queries in your DB. And you can also monitor the database connections, how many databases are connections that you actually need. And in backup and jobs, you need to identify when the last backup was created. If you can create an alert for it, you can create or start or stop a particular job with the help of Applications Manager's automated actions. So when an alert is created, you can associate an automated action to it, which allows you to create, start, or stop a particular job in the backup and job section. And under log statistics, you need to watch out for the lock wait times and identify which transactions are blocked. So applications managers can pinpoint slow running queries that are hindering databases performance. By identifying these queries, you can prioritize the optimization efforts and address the root cause of sluggish database operations. So I will show you how this looks in the UI and the key metrics that you can track and what are the extra metrics that you can track, not only the key metrics. So in order to create all these databases, application servers, and servers, you need to go to new monitor and add new monitor, and under add new monitor, you can click on application servers, and you can see all the application servers that Applications Manager monitors. You have the Apache Geronimo server, you have Glassfish, Java Runtime, JBoss, Jetty, Oracle Application Server, SN, Microsoft.NET, Silverstream, etc. And similarly for servers, you can monitor AIX, FreeBSD, HPUX, IBM I, Linux, Windows, Sun Solaris, Novel, Mac OS, etc. And databases, the most important databases are monitored here, such as MySQL, MS SQL, MongoDB, NoSQL, Oracle, etc. So let me show you the important metrics that you can track in all of these monitors. So in order to look at the monitors information that have already been added, go to monitors, and under application servers, let me click on WebLogic, for instance. Here you get the basic monitor information and the availability of the monitor. So in addition to that, you get information about the JVM heap usage, which was mentioned in the key metrics to monitor in application servers. And here you will be able to monitor the minimum and maximum heap size, the average heap size, the total heap size, current used heap size, and the percentage of the current used heap size. So you can associate thresholds to these metrics and configure alarms for the same. By clicking on the report, you will be able to view the historical report of that particular attribute. So here you have the average value, hourly average, 95th percent, and moving average of the used heap size. This will help you get an idea about how much heap is being used in your IT infrastructure. You also have the server response time for the last 1 hour, which gives you details about the minimum response time, maximum response time, average response time, and the current response time. You also have details about the memory pool, garbage collection, session details of web applications, thread pool details, which was mentioned before, and database collection pool, JMS details, SAF details, WebLogic details, etc. So these are the metrics, some of the metrics that you can monitor in application servers. So basically, KPIs for different application servers varies depending upon the services or the application servers. But some of these are constant, like JVM heap usage and server response time. So moving on to servers, let me show you the Windows server. In Windows Server, all the Windows Server that you have added to your Applications Manager's monitoring console are listed here. If you click on any one of the monitors, you'll be able to get a detailed view of that particular Windows monitor. And in the Overview tab, you get the monitor information, which lists out the health and availability of that particular monitor, and overview of all the KPIs, such as CPU utilization, memory, and disk. And you also have more details about the CPU and memory utilization, which gives you details about how the utilization was for the last 6 hours, and also the memory usage, page memory usage, the breakup of CPU utilization, and processes. So like I mentioned in the server section, process details and service details are some of the most important metrics that you need to monitor. And by adding the processes and services, you can monitor the Windows process and services as well. By clicking on the process, you will be able to get the availability report for that particular process or service. So you also have details about the process, such as the availability health and number of instances of that process in that particular Windows server, the CPU usage that process is being used, and the memory the process is using, along with the handler count. And in service details, you get details such as the service name and availability. For these services, you can actually perform actions from the Applications Manager's console itself. Just click on it and select delete, restart, start, stop, manage, and unmanage. So these are the actions that you can perform it from the Applications Manager. So for underlying or extensive details, you need to go to the each tab. So under CPU, you get CPU utilization by CPU cores, the breakup of CPU utilization, which lists out all the CPU's cores in that particular server. And you also get the same details in a tabular format for deeper understanding. So here you get the system time percentage, IO wait time, idle time, CPU utilization percentage, and the interrupts per second. So under disk, you get the disk utilization status, and also you get the stats of the disk IO, which gives you the writes per second and the reads per second in graphical formats. And in network, you can monitor the network interface, the network adapter, and the firewall details of that particular Windows service. Here you can monitor, or you can also associate a threshold or an alarm for the network interface attribute and the network adapter attributes. So if the status is, say, disabled for this particular firewall, you can associate a threshold. And when the threshold is breached, the help will come out as not available. So under event log, you can get to view the details about the recent events from event log. Under hardware, you'll be able to view the hardware details. And if you have an NLB, which is configured, you can view the network load balancing details. If you have some scheduled tasks, you can look at the details of the scheduled tasks over here. And if you have a print queue, you can look at the details over here. And finally, you get the details about the configuration of your Windows server. So moving on to database server. So let me show you one of the most important servers, which is the MS SQL server. So as you can see, the overview tab provides the basic monitor availability information, along with some of the KPIs, such as the buffer cache hit ratio, plan cache hit ratio, memory usage, buffer manager statistics, access method details, cache details, log details, latch details. So this is basically an overview of all these metrics. But if you want a deeper view, you can click on any one of these tabs. So under performance, you will be able to monitor the database queries. So monitoring the database queries is the most important, or as you can say, it's of the highest importance in database monitoring. So here, Applications Manager lists out the top queries by CPU usage, and you can also see the top queries by IO, top queries by CLR, top weights by waiting tasks, top slow running queries, which gives you basic idea about which queries are causing causing a latency issue or a slower response time. You also have the most frequently executed queries, which gives you an idea about which queries are frequently executed, so that you can make an informed decision regarding that query, and also most blocked queries. Other than that, you get the top queries by lowest plan reuse, cost of missing indexes, and the top components by memory usage. This whole tab gives you extensive information about the queries that could cause slowness in your application or your database performance. So under the database tab, you get the database details, such as the data file, the log file, and the total file size of each databases in the MS SQL cluster. And in the session, you get this connection statistics, the SQL statistics, where you can monitor attributes such as connection time, batch requests per minute, SQL compilations, and database connections. So under jobs, you can monitor the job details with the current execution status, last run status, etc. And under backup and restore, you get the backup details. Here you can also see the expiration of the particular backup, the physical name of the backup, and the backup age, which in hours. So the backup age gives you the detail about how long ago the last backup was performed. And under application tab, you get the log shipping status, replication status, and the replication agent details. In user details, you get the list of how many users are currently using that particular database. And under cluster details, you get the cluster IP name, IP address, and cluster name. And also you get some information on the availability groups inside this particular cluster. So that is it about the KPIs that you can monitor in Applications Manager and the important KPIs that you need to focus on for application servers, database servers, and normal servers. So moving on to the third part of today's session, which is how to leverage AI and ML to detect anomalies and troubleshoot issues quickly. So this is a familiar scenario. An IT environment generates a flurry of alerts when an issue strikes. Unfortunately, the sheer volume of alerts can overwhelm the IT staff, leading to a phenomenon known as alert fatigue. So in such situation, critical alerts might get overlooked by the level 1 support or the network operations center team. Additionally, the point of contact personnel may lack the sufficient context to effectively assess this situation. So when an issue occurs, the issue is sent, and if it gets overlooked by the L1, which is the level 1 support, another alert is sent. And this time, the network operations team also will get the alert, and they are unsure about the issue. So the alerts are kept on being sent, but people don't know how to go about the alerts. So imagine this scenario. Your critical MS SQL server relies on backups every 12 hours to ensure data protection. Unfortunately, due to an unforeseen circumstance or an issue, the backup process fails silently, leaving your data vulnerable for the past 24 hours. So manually shifting through logs and alerts to identify such missed backups can be time-consuming and error-prone. So with Applications Manager, if there has been no backup in the last 24 hours, an alarm is triggered. And by associating an alarm with an SQL job action, which is an automated action that performs immediately upon a threshold breach, this action will be automatically performed whenever the backup age exceeds the set time. When we looked at the database monitor and the key metrics in database monitor, under the jobs and backup section, we looked at the backup age. So if you if you associate a threshold profile to that backup age attribute, you will be able to trigger an alarm for the same and also associate an automated action to that alarm as well. So by reducing this alert fatigue, you can enable quicker troubleshooting. So by that, I mean you can filter out the noise, prioritize the event, pinpoint the cause, and automatically remediate the issue. Applications Manager empowers you to automate the response time to missed backups, eliminating the risk of human error and ensuring data safety. Here's how it works. So with the help of automated monitoring, Applications Manager continuously monitors your database or MS SQL server, keeping a watchful eye on the data backup process. So by creating a custom script for that action, you can associate it to the alarm. And by triggering the script, for example, as mentioned in the previous example, if it exceeds a predefined threshold of 12 hours, Applications Manager automatically triggers the custom script. And if you have automated recovery steps, the custom script can initiate a series of automated actions such as launching a new SQL job or sending a notification or email to the IT staff informing them about the missed backup and take the corrective actions. So another important area where machine learning is used is in the threshold profiles. Applications Manager currently supports three types of threshold profiles. One is the static threshold profile, another one is the adaptive threshold profile, and finally we have the anomaly profiles. For example, you have a Tomcat server you want to monitor the memory utilization for. Instead of configuring a static threshold, if you choose an adaptive one, the current memory utilization, if it deviates from the usual pattern, an alert will be triggered. So imagine this is the memory working set, and here a spike in the memory utilization is for the server is detected. So Applications Manager, based on the threshold profile that you have specified, it sends you out an alert, and if you have an automated action specified, it will perform it upon the database threshold breach as well. So let me show you how it looks like and how you can leverage this particular feature in Applications Manager. So for configuring the threshold profile, go to threshold profile option here and create a new threshold profile. So like I mentioned, you have a threshold profile, adaptive threshold profile, and an anomaly profile. So basically, threshold profile is used to identify issues or errors, and anomaly profile is used to identify performance degradation. And in threshold profile, to create a new threshold profile, you can create it for numerical values, string values, or float values. Enter a threshold name. So if you want the severity to be critical or moderate or clear. So we have three types of severity: critical, warning, and clear. If the monitored value is greater than, say, 5, let's say if you're associating it for a CPU percentage, CPU usage percentage. So if it's greater than 50%, it's critical. If it's equal to 50%, it's warning. And for clear, if it's lesser than 50%, let's say it's a clear severity. That means that your system is healthy and it has no issue. And if you can, after creating this threshold profile, just create the threshold profile, create the message for the threshold profile, and you can also specify the number of polls that you need to try out of the number of consecutive polls. Say you want to try for 10 polls out of the 50 consecutive polls. So if the value of the CPU usage is greater than or equal to 50% for 10 consecutive polls, then it will create an alarm or send out an alert. So after creating this, you'll be able to associate this profile with your attribute or KPIs. So it depends upon each of the server or the monitor that you have. For some monitors, it may be okay to work with 50% of CPU usage. For some, it may not. That's why it's essential to create different threshold profiles for each of the KPIs based on the individuality of the said servers or monitors. So under adaptive profile, this profile is based on AI and machine learning. So here you need to specify the threshold name and the type of threshold profile, whether it's automatic or manual. So if you choose manual, you can base it on baseline values or customer expression. So imagine you have historical data and you want to see if it's been increasing for a while or if it's been decreasing for a while. So if you fix a baseline based on the previous week of the report data, you'll be able to identify if the performance of the said KPI has decreased from the previous week or not. Or if you feel like a particular week in a particular year has performed exceptionally well, you can save that as well. For example, take week 5 of February 2024. Imagine that was your best week in terms of performance. You can fix a baseline based on that week as well. You can also check to specify the baseline as a percentage as well. So, and here you can specify the severity of the threshold values based on the threshold limits here as well. And under anomaly profile, it's similar to the adaptive threshold profile. Here you can detect the anomaly based on baseline values, where you can set a baseline which is either fixed or moving. If it's a fixed baseline, you can choose a week of a particular month's report data. Or if it's a moving baseline, you can use the previous week's report data. So which is the same as the adaptive profiles configuration steps. So here you can also specify the anomaly when the specific values as percentage of the baseline crosses a particular value. So if the upper limit crosses 20% of the baseline value, you can generate a critical alarm. If the lower limit crosses the 30%, you can create a warning alarm. And finally, create the anomaly profile. So say, for example, you have a DB server and you want to associate this particular threshold to. Click on Windows and for CPU utilization, here you can configure the alarms and save and configure a later. So when you get the if the availability is down, you get an alarm. Similarly, you can view the threshold profiles and configure it and assign it to a certain KPI. You will be able to get an alert as well. Similarly, under actions, you'll be able to view all the actions that you can perform with Applications Manager, such as email action, SMS action, execute program action, send trap action, execute mbean, Java heap dump, thread dump, etc., cloud action, virtual machine action, container action, vendor services action, SQL job action, webhook and REST API action, and Slack action. So like I mentioned, if you have a SQL job action to be performed for a particular backup or a job, you can use this feature as well. So moving on to last part of today's session, how to leverage AI and ML to analyze the performance trends and plan the capacity. So Applications Manager offers a comprehensive suite of reporting functionalities. We have granular reporting with over 100 options, which generates a detailed reports on a wide range of IT performance metrics with over 100 report types available. We also have capacity planning reports, which helps you identify under or oversized and idle servers based on memory and disk utilization. And finally, we have forecast reports, which employs machine learning techniques to predict and analyze the historical growth and utilization trends. So with this, you can gain in-depth insights into your applications or IT infrastructure with the Applications Manager's extensive library of over 100 plus report types, and also optimize the resource allocation within your IT infrastructure with the help of capacity planning and forecast reports. So some of the report types that we support are availability and health report, downtime summary report, and health trend analysis report. In availability and health report, you will be able to monitor the availability and health of certain KPIs or certain monitors. And in downtime summary report, you get the summary of the monitor availability, wherein you can monitor the downtime of that particular monitor and how long it has been down for. And in trend analysis report, you get the historical trends of all the KPIs in that particular monitor. And we also have a history report where you can monitor the historical data or historical details of a particular metric for the hour of day or day of week and the last 7 days as well. This report is available for the last 30 days as well. You also have the option to view the heat chart and the statistical report. In the hour of day report, you get the response time for each hour in a day. And also in the inventory report, you get to view all the inventory details of all the components or applications present in your IT infrastructure. So let me give you more information about the capacity planning reports, which is available in Applications Manager. So Applications Manager offers capacity planning reports for servers, VMs, containers, and etc. So with the help of these capacity planning reports, you can right size your servers by avoiding over allocation or under provisioning of the resources such as CPU, memory, and disk. Applications Manager helps you achieve optimal resource allocation within your IT infrastructure through its capacity planning reports. So these reports categorize the servers into three key groups. One is oversized, another one is undersized, and another one is idle. So in oversized servers is basically wasted resources. Imagine a server with a powerful 4 GB memory configuration, but it only runs a single application. Even with multiple users accessing this application, the CPU usage remains consistently low, never exceeding 3%. This scenario signifies an oversized server. Here's why. Your IT team might have allocated 32 GB of memory, assuming the need for a robust system. However, the application itself only utilizes a tiny fraction of that allocation. This excess memory essentially sits idle, representing the wasted resources. So how do you identify these oversized servers? Applications Manager helps you pinpoint these oversized servers by analyzing memory and CPU utilization patterns. Servers with consistently low utilization despite having high resource allocation are prime candidates for right sizing. Then we have the undersized servers, which are performance bottlenecks actually. On the other hand, these undersized servers occur when the resource utilization falls short of the actual application needs. So consider a server with 8 GB of memory running 4 applications. Whenever the users access this server, the CPU usage constantly hovers around 92 or even 100%. This scenario is an ideal representation of an undersized server. The limited memory struggles to keep up with the demands of the multiple applications running on the server leads to a high CPU utilization. This translates to potential performance bottlenecks, which impacts the application responsiveness and end user experience. And finally, we have how to identify these undersized servers. Applications Manager helps you identify these undersized servers by monitoring the CPU utilization alongside the memory allocation. Servers consistently experiencing high CPU usage despite having adequate memory might be undersized due to the number and resource requirements of the applications running on them. So this will cause issues at an application as well as the server level. Applications Managers' capacity planning reports will help avoid these scenarios by categorizing these servers. The report can be shared with your concerned teams to ensure that the resource allocation is done properly, be it in production environment or other environments. And moving on to the forecast reports, Applications Manager goes beyond traditional monitoring by offering these forecast reports. These reports helps you predict the usage and trend by up to 3 years into the future. Let's say you want to predict the usage for a specific server in June of 2024. Applications Manager analyzes the historical data and anticipates the application growth. Based on the analysis, it generates a forecast report that predicts the average usage for June 2024. So it also comes with dashboards and widgets, which help and also can integrate with Grafana, Kibana to visualize your data better. So you can customize your dashboards and widgets and also create it based on the teams or your business. So we also have smart widgets, which constitutes, performance widget, availability and health widgets, heat map, server uptime, some alarm summary widgets, monitor error status widgets, business view widgets, and utility widgets. So let me show you, quickly show you the reports in Applications Manager. So in Applications Manager, there's a reports tab, and under reports tab, you will have all the reports that are listed here. So you have an at-a-glance report of a monitor group. Here you will be able to see all the KPIs listed under that particular monitor group. You can see the report for today, yesterday, or a particular interval for up to 2 years. You have the trend analysis report where you get the downtime history for a particular monitor. For example, you have the historical report. You have the hour of day report, like mentioned, day of week report, statistical report, and heat chart. Moving on to capacity planning reports, as mentioned, you have the servers listed here. And since it's been categorized already, you can see the undersized servers. So based on this, you can make informed decisions regarding your servers and the resource utilization or resource allocation for these servers. And finally, we have the forecast reports. Here, it gives you a forecast for up to 3 years into the future. And by clicking on any one of the intervals, you will be able to see how much usage is predicted. So moving on to last part of today's series, how to achieve more out of Applications Managers with built-in integrations. We have direct integrations such as with Prometheus, ServiceNow, and Slack, and also with ManageEngine's products such as Alarms One, Analytics Plus, and Service Desk Plus. So what are the advantages of built-in integrations? So you get end-to-end visibility. You'll also be able to reduce performance bottlenecks. You get a lot of performance insights into the applications, and with the more efficient reporting, and you can also avoid SLA breaches. So let me talk a little bit about the Service Desk Plus integration. With the Service Desk Plus integration, you can sync your CIs with Applications Manager. It can also enable faster troubleshooting with instant ticket logging and action. And you can also automate the workflow to achieve more and faster. So in Prometheus integration, Applications Manager supports Prometheus integration for Tomcat and OpenShift. So here you can monitor multiple Tomcat from different subnets, which can also be discovered using Prometheus. And the IP address of host servers will not be required. So hence, it saves a lot of time spent while discovering. So to make use of the integrations, go to the Settings tab. And under Settings tabs, you have the product settings. Click on Add-on Settings. Here, you will be able to add all the integrations here. So for third-party integrations, we have Prometheus, Alarms One, Service Desk Plus, Slack, Op Manager, etc. We also have Site 24/7, ServiceNow, Service Desk Plus, MSP, and Cloud. So by clicking on Add Integration, you'll be able to integrate it. And by following the instructions on how to use this integration, you will be able to integrate it with Applications Manager. So I would also like to let you know that we also have mobile apps from Android and iPhone, where you get an overview of all the monitors, monitor groups and subgroups with the health and availability status. And you'll also be able to receive the critical alerts on the go. So if you have an Android, you can download the app from the Play Store. And if you have an iPhone, you can download it from the App Store. So that is it for today's session. Let me do a quick recap. So in part one, we saw how to discover components and dependencies across your entire IT stack automatically. In part two, we saw how you can measure the key performance metrics across your entire application infrastructure, particularly in servers, databases, and application servers. In part three, we saw how you can use Applications Manager's threshold profile, adaptive profile, and anomaly profiles to associate actions and alarms with critical KPIs and also analyze the performance trends. And we also saw how you can utilize the AI and ML in our reporting feature to analyze the performance trends, forecast the utilization, and also plan capacity. And finally, in part four, we saw how you can leverage the most out of Applications Manager integrations, and also which integrations are supported in Applications Manager. Thank you all for staying tuned.